No two coins are alike. And in the Morgan Dollar series, the vintage Morgan Dollar series, 1878 to 1904, that last year, 1921, 28 years, 5 mints, that series, no two coins are alike. And one of the coins you never see is that 1901. And tonight, well, guess what? For a few minutes anyways, this will be a short conversation, we have some beautiful super sliders. All right, everybody, let me go to the year and explain what it is, but I'm going to go to the grade next, and then from there we'll make good, all right? So we're talking about 1901, one of the later date Morgans ever issued. They made them from 1878 to 1904, so we're looking at the end of the era, the original 27. This is a Philadelphia issue, and as many of you might know, the late Philadelphia issues are tough. The 1880s, some of the 1890s are findable, but the 1900 plus are tough. And then let's last talk about the grade, the quality of coin. The technical grade is an about uncirculated. But if I talk about uncirculated, if I pause differently, I'm either saying about uncirculated or I'm talking about an uncirculated coin. It can be confusing. So years and years ago, my colleague Don coined the phrase super slider, and it's been used for over a decade now in the industry. You look at it, you know it's a high-grade circulated coin. Is it unk? Don't know, but it might slide by. Kind of the topic. So AU 53 to 55, that's kind of the range for the technical side. But it's easier just to say a super slider, it slides by. It's a fun one. So now let's talk about this coin in particular, because this one has all the oomph in the series. Again, there are 29 Philadelphia struck coins. 28 years, but remember, they had an 8-tail feather and a 7-tail feather year one. So it's actually one more, 29 coins. The 1901 ranks number 10 for low mintage. Okay? So if it just gives you an idea of where it stacks for how many were made or how few. But this one's right in the middle, honestly. At 6.9 million, it's kind of in the middle. But it tells you that Philadelphia made a lot of coins if there are 19 that are higher, going to that 1921 at the end. But the difference is finding one at a coin show. And many of you might know it. I mean, I've talked about the Great American Coin Hunt all the time. Hunting. Why can't I find this? The mintages look just like that one, and I can find 100 of those. Why can't I find this one? And it's just, well, this thing happened in 1918. World War I is going on. The English need help with silver, so the U.S. can't give them silver. We're not in the war yet. We create this legislation called the Pittman Act, and we melt about 60% of all the Morgans ever made between 1878 and 1904. So those 27 consecutive years, all the mints. The question is, which ones got melted, which ones didn't? Well, hindsight, we're all rocket scientists, right? Because I don't know about you, but in my shed in the back of my yard, when I work on it, I open up the doors and then I put the stuff I'm not using in the back. And that way I can go in there and grab what I need. I don't put the stuff right by the door and trip over it every time. Well, the mint follows very similar procedures. You open the door, it's a big warehouse, you go way to the back of the warehouse and you put the 1878s. So as time goes on, getting closer to 1904, when you open doors, you're finding coins that were more recently made. A logical thought in a process. It also explains why if you go back to the 1880s, you can actually find some affordable Morgan dollars in high grade condition. Super slider and higher. And that's because if they melt 60% from 04 back, you're going to get cut off somewhere in the 1880s. Well, let's get to the specifics on this one. If you're looking at the 85p, 86p, 87p with 500,000 coins seen at NGC or PCGS, you're looking at the 83, 84, 85O, you're looking at the 80, 81, 82S's, with hundreds of thousands of coins, which is why they're somewhat affordable today. And then you can't find this one. It's because in 40 years between the two largest services, who combined have seen 8 million Morgan dollars. And inside of those 8 million coins, they saw 2,300,701 exactly as of today. All grades. Just tells you the frequency of this coin is not seen. Now, the next part of this conversation is the rarity for the grade. I look at the Morgan Dollar series as not a 70-point Sheldon scale. It is, but I break it down into beautiful circulated, uncirculated, and then, can you believe how beautiful this coin is, and it's not uncirculated, about super slider, right? So on a technical scale, circulated is that VG8, fine 12, very fine 20, right? Mint state 60, and then these pop in at about 50 to 59. So the higher the number, the more expensive the coin, just the way it works. Quality, quality, quality. It's no different than buying a 57 Chevy, a beautiful car, and mine has 100,000 miles on it and yours doesn't. Yours has like 5. Yours is cherry, never been driven. Mine looks like it's been driven, but guess what? It's still the car. It's still a fun one to have. They both have tremendous value. One of them just exceeds all expectations because of the quality. This coin, the jump as we call it, circulated coins to about uncirculated coins, super sliders, to uncirculated. Where are the jumps? Where are the sticking points? Well, a circulated coin you're going to find somewhere in that $100 to $150 range. Reasonable for somewhat, rarer than all the others. Then you jump to about uncirculated, which is about $1,000 with my competitors. We're half the price. And then from there you go to uncirculated, and that's the jump that matters. As of right now, $6,200 to $6,400 for the same coin you're seeing. So when I look at super sliders, it's about affordability. If this coin was at $1,500, $2,000 and an unk is at $6,000, then it's what can I afford? Where do I want to be? But when I have a gorgeous coin, a high-grade coin like this one, that's closer to the regular circulated coin, that makes me scratch my head. And obviously, you guys know me, I scratch my head too much. This follically challenged thing is not fun, but it exists. And for me, it's all about scratching on numbers like this one. How can they exist like this today? Guys, I don't have time for a clock. If you're visiting us via the web, push this one through. This is the first time we've had it this year. And look at where we are. Yeah, the last time was August of last year. That's a long time. But it's a gorgeous coin, and we just had to talk about it for a few minutes while we have them.